Welcome back everybody for another training tip of the day. In today's training tip, I wanted to talk about the difference between a working line dog and an average dog. So when it comes to a working line dog, they are exactly that. They are meant to work. So you will see this a lot of times with like the police canines, you'll see it with like the protection dogs, you'll see it with military dogs, maybe a herding dog, search and rescue, etc. Again, a working line dog is meant to work. Where the flip side of that, your average companion dog is exactly that. They are more of a companion. The next thing we want to look at is going to be the energy level of these dogs. When it comes to a working line dog, they are typically going to have high energy and high drive. Where the flip side of that, with your average dog, they're usually going to be a little more kicked back, a little more relaxed, a little more chill, if you will. The next thing we're going to look at is going to be the motivation and trainability of these dogs in comparison to the two. A working line dog is typically going to be a lot more active and a lot more motivated to do training because, again, they enjoy doing work. Where the flip side of that, with an average dog, while yes, they are trainable, they will typically poop out a lot faster. They'll typically not want to be as engaged as a working line dog. The next thing is going to be kind of the needs of these dogs, or even like the lifestyle of these dogs. When it comes to a working line dog, they need to be worked. They need to have a job. You need to occupy them, because if you don't, you will face consequences. You may see the dog be destructive, maybe be reactive, maybe be a little more spunky, etc. Where the flip side of that, with your average dog, they can have a little more of a laid back lifestyle. You just take them for a walk once a day. You don't really have to work with them. You don't have to do a whole lot with them. Then I think finally, when we compare the two, we want to look at it from a social standpoint. A working line dog, they aren't typically the most social dogs. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for all dogs that are working line dogs, but most of the time, those dogs are there to do a job. They're not there to socialize. Where the flip side of that, with the companion dog or your average dog, they're usually going to be a little more friendly. They're going to be a little more outgoing, a little more sociable. So those are some of the big differences between a working line dog and your average dog. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you guys do have any training related questions, I'm more than happy to help. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a blessed day. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day, everybody.